Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's OpenONU Go call. Thanks for joining. As usual, the call is public and recorded. It will be shared live on YouTube, so please be mindful of the comments you make and the information you share. First of all, just a little bit of an update on the OMCI libgo patches that were created by Chip. The patches actually merged, and it will be included in the OpenONU Go adapter after the Kafka to gRPC move, which we'll talk a little bit about later. But Chip has also created a spreadsheet where he showcases all the attributes, the MEs that are actually used by Volta. Chip, do you want to give us a brief overview of this one?
Yeah, just since they're looking at doing the voice over IP, so that's going to add a lot of additional managed entities, and so those have never been used in code before. So I went through and did an audit of all the existing managed entities, which are the first set, and I'll eventually go back to just to make sure if they're 100%, match the generated code to the ITU specification. So, and I'm pretty sure that they are matching closely since they're in use, or we would probably add bug reports by now. But I'll just periodically go back and try to make sure that everything's 100%. So we have fairly good confidence. And then the second half is all the new managed entities that they've has identified for the voice over IP. And so I went through that. If it's a green box, then it pretty much says, I think everything is accurate. If there's a red box, then there might be an attribute missing, or attribute is not being decoded correctly. And then just in general, whether the alarms or ABCs are supported. And in the OMCI libgo library, you can serialize and decode attribute value change messages without any trouble. But it'd be nice to eventually, if anyone actually ever needs to use them, to provide a little bit better interface like we did for the alarms, where you could actually say, is this from the managed entity, know if it should support an ABC, and then ask it in a more programmatic way instead of looking, doing bit mask operations in high level code.
Sounds good. Okay. Any questions for Chip on this one? No? Okay. Then let's. Well, thanks, Chip, and
Okay.
we'll talk about voice over IP. I think I included the document down below, so we might come up with something at that point. Yeah. Okay. So next topic is the queue-based approach for the messages and the flows. Girish, what's the status on this one?
Yeah, so on this one, I made a design note earlier, and so right now I just serialized the flow messages, and I submitted a patch for that, and it works on my development testing. It works on the hardware, but yeah, the robot test framework needed some fixes because the states of the ONU is not the same anymore. When the ONU is powered off or the PON port is disabled, basically it will not be OMCI flow deleted. It will be stopping OMCI because no more flow processing is done once the ONU goes down. So I submitted a patch for that too. Yeah, I mean, I request people to have a look at the code changes, and thanks for the comments, Andrea and Holger, and also Ask. I have addressed those. thinking about this a bit more, I think once this patch merges, we do not need to serialize TP messages. I think this alone should suffice because the VLAN FSM takes care of serializing TP messages internally. So as long as we serialize flow messages, that should actually suffice. My earlier proposal actually was, trying to serialize both of them, but that may be overkill. I mean, we don't need to do that.
Okay,
I think it's good enough.
Girish, that was what came into my mind. If it is a first step towards this new next event handler, or if it will be a standalone solution. So you mean that the next event handler would not be necessary anymore, right?
Yeah, it would not be necessary, but still we can simplify the VLAN FSM. I mean, there is so much code in there, complex code that could be simplified, but we don't really need the next event handler. I mean, the next event handler was trying to, synchronize both the flow messages and the TP messages and trying to synchronize them. It was the next event handler FSM. I mean, there are a lot of open questions there. I was trying to solve a problem that was already solved in the VLAN FSM, although in a bit complex way. Yeah, but thinking about it now, I don't think we really need that.
But currently we also have some synchronization between the TP and flow processing. You mean that would not be necessary to serialize something there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really need to serialize TP messages because the VLAN FSM already has the logic, to synchronize with the TP FSM and serially process those TP messages. So I don't really need to do that. So as long as I serialize flow messages, the TP messages are already taken care of. I see.
So you rely on the already existing synchronization mechanism between TP and VLAN FSM, yeah. and for the flows you introduce this new serialization, right?
Yes. And also it sends back a response which is not being sent earlier. So earlier, all the flow messages were just being acknowledged. Okay. So right now we send the proper response.
Yeah. Okay. See. It sounds good. Thank you.
But I
thanks,
think. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead. We should simplify the VLAN FSM a bit more. I mean, now things are not being parallelly handled. I mean, we don't handle, n number of flows in parallel. So we could do away with, a lot of, complex code that was in there. I mean, that is still in there to handle this parallel set of flows. But I think we can wait for, Mikhail to come back for that. I think he has more idea about that code since he wrote it.
And if I understand correctly, this is being tested at the scale, and it seems to be correctly working, right, Girish?
Yeah, this is being tested on scale with TO's new OLT app changes as well, and the tests consistently pass. We don't see any failure, so it works at scale.
Nice. This is really, really good.
Do we have an automated test case which is adding and removing particular flows for not for AT&T but probably for DT or TT? Or have you made it completely manually, these tests?
At scale, the flow add removal happens as part of the workflow. When you provision a subscriber, it removes EAP and adds the subscriber flows. But DT and TT do not have this.
Because at AT&T we have it, the default flow will be deleted and then the real flows will be created, and vice versa.
Yeah, but we do not have that mechanism for DT and TT. I mean, it's not there in the workflow, but in my dev testing, I have done that for DT and TT. albeit not at scale.
Andrea, do you think we need additional test cases for this, or test suites to or not?
Maybe Girish, what you can do is that you can just run it against the full 50 sim tests, because that does addition and deletion. So if that
DT and
passes,
okay.
DT
Okay,
no, use the OpenONU Go one.
Okay.
There's an OpenONU Go job. Just run it there. That does addition, deletion, multiple tech profiles. So if that passes, I'm fairly confident we should have no issues.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Thanks.
It's okay. I mean, if you want, today is Wednesday. Mikhail will be there Monday.
Yes.
Okay. Andrea, I'll leave it to you on when to merge this. I mean, I'm in no hurry.
Yeah, I am the same. There's no real urgency to merge this, so I would say that we could wait for Michael to come back and have his opinion on it, at least his review.
Yeah, sounds good.
Girish, I had a look into the issue you have found during your tests regarding remove subscriber after OpenONU adapter restart. And
yeah.
there's an issue because there's during flow configuration, there's a VLAN filter list, which is maintained and used only for flow removal. So this list is to double check whether or not a particular flow was configured towards the ONU, and this list is currently not available after restart. So I have to analyze if it is better to store this list in the KV store, or to rebuild it when we come up in the reconciling mechanism. So I took this issue to me, or I assigned it to me. I will have a look at it. Yeah.
Thanks, Volker. Do you need any logs? I saw you.
No, I think I can reproduce it.
Okay. Here. Yeah, I expect AT&T scenario, but you might have it in another workflow too.
Yeah, I will check.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, and the topic after this one is directly related, so I don't think there is any issues there or anything that we need to discuss. Girish, am I correct?
Yeah. It's already taken care.
Okay, good. Perfect. That's good. On the software update, let's leave it there. The PM counters, I saw Himani uploaded some patches just as an update to those. Some of these are again some of the ones that are stacked up to be merged after the gRPC move. So let's wait for that and then merge them. Same as the logging one. Holger, no update here, right?
I'm still waiting for that has to be merged. Yeah.
There is no update on the date. No, there is no update on the timing.
Okay, as you said, as you've seen that there's something wrong with the RPC communication with gRPC, right? Because we do not receive Adobe device RPC when in some cases. Probably the strange thing is that not all test cases are affected, but some of them. No?
I posted it on the Kafka to gRPC channel. David, maybe you can take a look. There is some missing RPC, as Holger was pointing out, that whenever we do some operation, we don't receive the proper indication from the core.
But what can also be seen that there are a lot of error messages from RW core that it's not able to connect, to communicate. Probably this. easy to find or to see what's going wrong there.
Can you go over this again? The gRPC messages?
So with the newest, David, we are running two set of tests with the gRPC communication. We're running the 50 BBSIM test, and we're running an OpenONU Go specific test that does a little bit more in relation to turning on and off specific ONU related elements. And in one of these tests, there are failures, and that is because the RW core does not receive some ONU down up indications.
Actually, that what we see is when the ONU comes up, there's a test case where the BBSIM, for example, explicitly switches on the ONU, and you will receive the ONU indication message from the OLT adapter, but not the RPC adopt device from the RW core. So that's why the ONU does not come up. So in the corresponding log there, you can see several errors in RW core processing. Probably, I think.
How can I replicate this?
Oh, it's in the job, David.
Okay, it's in the job, but I can't. Okay, can someone text me the job?
Andrea, you have posted this also the link to the tests, right?
Yeah, I placed it into the chat, David, from our channel.
Yeah, the Kafka one.
Yep.
Okay, same issue with the dock device. That's the one.
Yep. And you can see it. You can see it in this job. 15 or is just a number. The job they always fail for the same reason.
And but the thing is, you think the gRPCs aren't going through. Okay, well, I'll take
I have no idea, to be honest. What
actually I grabbed for the Adobe device at all, and I don't see anything. So actually, I would expect that at least it's a RW core is preparing this RPC, but I can't see it in the log.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Okay, welcome.
Okay. So next up, I would like everybody, if you have some time, Mahir yesterday presented it at TST. I don't want to go into the whole set of details, but maybe just the OpenONU Go specific elements in relation to the support for the plain old telephone services. So this is the document. There are some changes proposed to the OpenONU adapter to support the added port here for the telephone services. And there's a bit of a change in the naming of the ports and the feature. So that's changing both of them is what we suggest, and that should enable us to report the port properly, and then we need to use all the MEs. Mahir, is there anything specific for the group that you want to bring up?
I can only say this, that all these MEs are created during the MIP download. There are more than 10 MEs here, and after you guys all review the document, perhaps next week we can talk about changing the MIP download stage. Currently, we're doing all this uni-site configuration in the startup when the ONU is discovered. But think that if you don't have any service on any pod port, think that, I mean, there's no subscription on the port, and they only have more than one port, then we do this configuration on default, you know, startup when the port is discovered. So I think this may, I mean, may not be good for a performance issue, where I'm configuring the port even if there is no subscription there. So we can change this implementation to do the configuration at technology profile download, with technology profile download. I think we can discuss this only the next week. I think after Michael came back from his vacation. That is the specific issue for the ONU adapter, I think. Other than that, you said that the change, we have to do some change at port discovery and advertise the port to the RW core and ONUs. And ONU we have some emis to be configured for port support.
Thanks, Mahir. While we are on the topic, any questions? And this touches also the changes that Chip is bringing in with the OMCI libgo. So if you have any questions, I think it would be best to ask them to the group now, so we can start looking at the implementation in the best possible way. Okay, then if not, maybe please review the document and ask Mahir and the Netsia team any questions if you have them, so we can just go ahead and further develop the requirements and the needs that the team needs to implement for having a full set of subscription on the ports for the telephone service as well. Just Mahir, something that I did not ask you yesterday. What's the priority of this, in the sense, would you like, do you guys have the resources to put in this in 2.9, or are we looking at a different time frame?
Yeah, we will implement this in the 2.9 time frame.
Okay, thanks.
A question from you, Andrea, just came in my mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think Matteo would check if we have hardware in the ONS lab. I mean,
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Mahir, I checked in our lab, and we have the Iskretel ONUs that have, I think we have 1 or 2 Iskretel. I don't know the exact number, but the Iskretel model that we have had 2 ports, uniport. That's the only one that we have.
Okay, then we don't have ports on the ONUs.
Sorry, I didn't understand.
You said we only have 2 UNI ports. These are Ethernet UNI ports, or?
No. We have the Iskretel. We have an Iskretel ONU that has, the normal uniports, but it has also 2 ports.
Okay, got it.
So we do have something in ONF that we can use to test with. That is correct, Gish.
Yeah.
Okay, good. This is good news. This is very good news. Mahir, what will you be using for testing? Do you know what ONU you would be using, Mahir?
Özge, do you know which ONUs we are using? You ask ONUs?
Now we are using Alpha ONU and Zyxel ONU.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. And those are GPON ONUs.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, so the istradal that we have is XGS form.
But sorry, Girish.
Sorry, go
I
ahead.
checked. We have XGS POM ONU and it has a POSUNI. I checked GPON and XGS POM actually.
So we have both the GPON and XGS-PON ONUs. Is this correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
correct.
Yeah, the one that we have is the XGS PON. I think it's FG 1000 model. I'm not very sure. I have to check.
Okay. Let's check on this topic, and then let's come back on it. But at least it's good that we have something to test on, which is very good. Okay. On the testing front, Holger.
Actually, regarding
Yeah, Torsten, sorry.
okay, Thorsten, go ahead, please.
There's no so much to say. Pipelines are looking good, and the abort image activation test case is already uploaded and now waiting to be reviewed. Some reviews I've got, but I think there are some missing. And if the review is done, we can upload it. We can submit it. Sorry. And else, I took some looks at the further pipelines with the Atran OLT and the Kafka and GPS, not gRPC swap. Yes, that's what I do at the moment.
Okay.
But I think next week will come up a further test case, but there's some support by BVSIM needed.
What support of BBSIM is needed?
The counter of successful software upgrade downloads. There's already a Jira made by Michael.
You remember the number?
I'm looking. I have two numbers here. I think it's 4294.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, let me tag Matteo here and see what we can do with that.
There's a sprint number 4.
Okay. Anything else on the testing front? Any update on the 6011, Holger?
I wrote additionally in Jira in our epic. It is wall 4342. And but additionally, I also posted in Jira towards our ONU development.
Okay.
Yeah, this is not clear whether we get this prioritized properly to fix this issue. So we are needing to talk to Michael when he's back as well. But so we might not get this very quickly done. So the question is whether we continue to test with the existing other ONTs as long as we don't have this one.
Yeah, that's what we are planning to do.
Mhm.
Meaning that at the moment I've disabled the 611 ONU from the tests, and that's it. Meaning I don't use it for the testing. But whenever we want to test it, because you guys think you might have a fix for this, I can easily re-enable it, and that's just going to bring forward the ONU and test it as we have seen before, and it could or could not show the problem depending on if the problem is already there after we make the fix or not.
Yeah. So I would propose we leave it for the next week, so we can talk once more again. If we don't have much progress there, we perhaps also have different hardware variants in preparation for the future. Perhaps we are taking the newer versions and testing with this one instead. So that
Okay.
has also different software. But let's leave it one more week and then let's see.
Yes, indeed, we can definitely do that. That's no issue. That's no issue at all. Okay, fine. Okay. So that was all I had for today on the agenda. Anybody has anything else they want to bring up for discussion? No? Okay, then if not, we get some time back to work on the stuff we were working on before. Thanks for joining, and let's continue great work on Slack and on the mailing list. Talk to you again next week. Thanks, everybody. Cheers. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye bye.